Ooh, wait, you saying that's some good old mashed potatoes. If you tired of eating them sad, flavorless mashed potatoes out the box, and you want something better, then this video is for you. I'm gonna show you how to do mashed potatoes the right way. Now potatoes, they originally come from South America. The Incans actually watched llamas lick clay before they ate the potatoes to neutralize the poison. Yep, some potatoes is poisonous. Matter of fact, you can still find poisonous potatoes sold in Peru to this day. They still sell it with the clay so they don't kill you, but that ain't no gravy I'm gonna want to eat. Dirt gravy, no thank you. When it comes to mashed potatoes, the truth is nobody really knows who invented mashed potatoes, but most people credit English author Miss Hannah Glass, who wrote in her mashed potato recipe in her 18th century cookbook, The Art of Cookery. Her recipe called for boiling the potatoes, peeling them, and then mashing them with milk, butter, and a little salt. Man, she must have had like some stone hands. You know how hot a boiled potato is? I'm gonna need to go ahead and peel mine first. We had a recipe in the good old USA. Miss Mary Randolph published the Virginia Housewife, where she called for an ounce of butter, a tablespoon of milk for a pound of potatoes, and no salt. No salt, and she stingy with the milk, negative. She must have high blood pressure. And you know what? I don't even know why I bought this up. On to the recipe. Nowadays, you can use either dehydrated or fresh potatoes. Now I know what you're thinking. Uncle Bird, ain't no way you gonna use instant potatoes. You damn skipping. You gonna find a chicken with teeth before you find me eating instant mashed potatoes. Now there are some times when instant mashed potatoes are perfectly acceptable, and I did compile a short list of the acceptable times. If you're gonna make cookies with it, if you're out camping, natural disasters, nuclear war, or the zombie apocalypse. Outside of that, keep them things away from me. I'm an adult. I don't want no baby food. So we're gonna use fresh potatoes. And we typically have two types of potatoes to pick from in the grocery store. You got floury and you got waxy. Now floury, they don't hold together too well, but they fluff up real nicely when you cook them. Now waxy potatoes, they hold their shape, they don't break down real easy, and they have a firm bite. They real good dressed in butter and potato salad. We're gonna use a floury potato for this recipe, and we're gonna use a russet, also known as an Idaho russet here in the United States, because they're a russet potato that was grown in Idaho. Now Idaho potatoes are so good because Idaho's like potato heaven. It gives potatoes a perfect environment for growth, taste, and texture. So this is what we're gonna go with. Now this is the recipe that my mama taught me back home in Kentucky. Hey mama, let's get all our tools and ingredients together. You're gonna need a 6-quart or 5.7 liter pot, a hand blender, vegetable brush, potato peeler, a strainer, chef's knife, and a silicone spatula. The ingredients we're gonna use today is 5 pounds or 2.26 kilos of russet potatoes, a quarter pound or 113.4 grams of butter, not margarine, 1 tablespoon or 15 mLs of black pepper, 1 cup or 0.24 liters of whole milk, 3 tablespoons or 45 mLs of plain salt, 3 tablespoons or 45 mLs of minced garlic. Well, let's go. Start by cleaning your potatoes. Now I don't mean rinse them off with a little bit of water. I mean scrub them with a scrub brush. You gotta get all that dirt off the potatoes. If you don't, the potatoes gonna be gritty, and don't nobody want no gritty mashed potatoes. See, they ain't gonna let you bring potatoes to the cookout no more. They're gonna tell you, hey, just bring some plates. Now that we got the potatoes good and clean, you need to peel them. Now I recommend going ahead and buying a potato peeler because they worth their weight in gold. And don't get the one from the Dollar Tree. That one's terrible. It's right up there with using the paring knife to peel the potatoes. Now I'm using the Farberware. It's under $10, and I'll put a link in the description. The potato peeler makes peeling potatoes so much easier, and you don't waste as much potato because it mainly only removes the skin. Now you can still leave some of the skin on, but I usually get as much off as I can because my son act like he gonna die for some potato skins in there. The next step is to fill your pot with water. We're gonna use this to rinse potatoes after they've been cut. Keeping them in water helps keep them from turning brown due to exposure to the air. Cut your potato in chunks and place them into the pot of water. What I do is I cut them in half and then I cut them into smaller pieces. Keep in mind, the smaller you cut the pieces, the faster they're gonna cook. The key is to make sure that they all cut about the same size so that they finish cooking all around the same time. So after the potatoes have been cut into the small pieces or whatever size pieces you're gonna use, pour off the rinse water and then refill the pot of potatoes with some clean water and place it on the stove. I like to add 1 tablespoon of 15 mLs of salt and 1 tablespoon of 15 mLs of minced garlic to flavor the boiled water, just like you do when you're making pasta. Bring the potatoes up to a rapid simmer. Now on my stove, that's medium high. If you don't know what medium high is, that's the area right in the middle of medium and high. You want to cook the potatoes until they soft and break apart easy with a fork. Probably take about 10 to 15 minutes. After your potatoes are done cooking, use a strainer to strain the water from the potatoes and then put your pot back on the stove. Add a cup of milk to the pot. Don't worry about the milk being cold, because 1 cup of milk ain't gonna hurt nothing. There's no way 1 cup of milk gonna cool down 5 pounds of potatoes. If you want a looser mashed potatoes, you can always add a little bit more milk. But if you want to do that, I'd do it at the end. Go ahead, cut up your 1/4 pound, 113.4 grams of butter, and add it to the potatoes. You need to make sure this is real butter, the kind that come from cows, not margarine. You don't want all that gobbledygook in it. Add 1 tablespoon of 15 mLs of black pepper. Now I'm using restaurant grade black pepper. You can use whatever you got. Put in 2 tablespoons of 30 mLs of minced garlic. Now you can go heavier on this if you like more garlic flavor. That ain't gonna hurt nothing. Add 2 tablespoons of 30 mLs of salt. Plain or iodized, it don't matter. Both of them gonna work fine. We're gonna use a hand blender to mash potatoes. You put the beaters onto the blender and then you start to mash the potatoes without having the power turned on. This helps prevent overworking the potatoes, but once the potatoes start to get mixed up pretty good, then you can turn on your hand blender. Whatever you do, don't use anything other than the lowest setting, because if you do, you're gonna overwork the mashed potatoes and they're gonna be gummy. And nobody won't eat them doughy, gummy mashed potatoes. If we want some bread, we go to the bread section. We want to mix everything well. Now I like to spin the pot around a little bit to make sure I get everything mixed up good. Now at this point, you can use several disposable spoons to bring up the salt level. Just make sure you ain't in there double dipping. Ain't nobody trying to eat your spit. The key is don't put too much damn salt in there. Now that we got everything good and mixed up, we're just gonna use a spatula to make everything nice and pretty. And that's how you do mashed potatoes. Not a single box in sight. Look at that. Ooh, look at them potatoes. They look good. See what it's talking about. Look at that. Good, creamy, delicious. Just like my mama used to make. Man, I love these potatoes. They so good. A little story about these potatoes. When me and my wife first started living together, so she in there making some mashed potatoes. I look over, I say, oh, she ain't putting no garlic in there. What's going on? And all I said was, yeah, my mama don't make them like that. Apparently my wife know how to cuss a lot. So, word to the wise, don't say that to your wife. Ooh, you see them. Look at these good potatoes, boys. These potatoes good. Look at you want some, don't you? So if you enjoyed this video and these potatoes, watch the next video. Learn something else.